I don't know if you want to answer this question because it might be problematic, but who's your big four? If you don't have to answer if you
I
don't
can
want to.
answer that.
Okay.
Currently, so what I'm gonna do is that I'm not gonna put in the OGs, because I just
Okay.
believe that there was a big three. There are still a big three, and this is just my new gen big three. So respect to all the OGs like Wizkid. But my new gen big three, definitely Rema.
Okay, yes.
He's there. I feel
Mhm.
like there's very few people that could. Secondly, Tems. I'm gonna put Tems in there as number two. Big four. Damn, this is tough.
What's up, everybody? It's Ngozi, and I'm the creator and host of AFRO Archives, a music podcast where we pull from the pivotal and fan favorite moments in African music history. For my very first guest, I will be speaking with Elsie, not Elise, a multi-hyphenate creative and music enthusiast who has worked with companies like Spotify and interviewed artists such as Schoolboy Q, Russ, and Amaarae. Today, we'll be talking about Afrobeats, the old and the new, our takes on the big four, the Mount Rushmore of Afrobeats producers, and the direction that the genre is going in. First, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And now let's get into today's episode. All right, so first things first, Elsie, thank you so much for being my very first guest on Afro Archives.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. And before we get into today's topic, which is Afro beats, I would love to first talk about you. So I came across you and your work last year, actually, through your artist interviews. But I know that around 3 years ago, you started creating your content on TikTok. And I know that within the first 3 months, you gained 50,000 followers. And then fast forward to now, you have almost 400,000 followers. And then also for people that aren't familiar with your journey, I know that prior to creating full time, you got your degree in computer science and then worked in tech for a little bit and then, made that transition. So my very first question for you, when you reflect back on your journey, like what first comes to mind? Because you've done so much in just 3 years alone. So like does
Yeah.
time feel real to you? Like how do you feel?
Sometimes it does not feel real. It doesn't.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I kind of wonder, you know, did I even make the right choice? Sometimes, I think back on it. So it definitely doesn't feel real. I've made a lot of progress in the last 3 years. In some ways, it is affirming, that, you know, this is becoming something. But in some other ways, it's like, how do I maintain that momentum? How do I keep it going? So, it's both sides of the coin. But yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really happy for how far, I've come.
Yeah, for sure. Because, people can see the success, but they don't know what goes into all that. So I want to actually go back to what you said about how you wonder if you made the right choice. Can you like unpack that a little more?
Yeah, just one thing about the industry is that, especially doing social media, people have very short attention spans.
Yeah, for sure.
And so people move on really quickly. And being independent, so in the music industry, there's usually a hierarchy that people follow. You can intern at a label, become an A&R, work your way up. But from what I did, it's almost like I bypassed all of that. So I faced a lot of resistance. A lot of people are like, "Oh, what are your qualifications?" Kind of networking into the industry. And so that's where sometimes it's really hard because a lot of people are so used to what I'm doing is still relatively new. And a lot of people are still used to just the way that they've always known to do things. So I do face a lot of resistance from
Yeah.
people in the industry, from people always, even random people, trying to explain to them what I do. I find that it's really hard for people to kind of even be on board with it and support it and see it as a real thing. And so sometimes when I face resistance, I kind of wonder was this really the right choice? Because it ebbs and flows. I have moments where it's like there's a lot happening, and then there's also moments where it's quiet. So,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes, things just happen like that.
Yeah, no, that's completely understandable, especially because it's so hard to do something on your own, like to be
Yes.
independent. I know you talked about how you haven't had like industry backing and everything like that, but I feel like honestly, that's a testament to itself to show that even though you are getting that resistance, people are still seeing your vision still, like, the people that
That is
support your
true.
work. So I feel like what you're doing is amazing, but I can understand, both sides. Yeah,
Thank
and then yeah, so like I just love how you analyze music and how you connect with artists, but also something that I really admire about you is your consistency.
Thank you.
So yeah, of course. So like apart from your overall love for music, right? What would you say is a driving force for that consistency in creating? Because it's not easy.
It
So
is not
how,
easy.
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the driving force is just even the main reason why I decided to quit my job and start this. I think it's always been the same driving force. It's like I just want to know what's on the other side. You know, it's kind of a curiosity. Like I would rather like put in my best and see where that leads me than to have a maybe what if I did this, you know, not like a story I tell in the future when I'm like, what if I actually went down this path? Where did it lead me? And so like, and also another driving force for consistency is just everything kind of depends on me. If I'm not consistent, then people don't see my content, then I'm not able to pitch to people, to brands. I'm not able to pitch to artists. So it kind of lies on me. So I
Right.
know that I have to stay consistent to sustain the machine. Like if I'm not consistent, then the machine dies and that machine is me. So it's kind of like that's kind of my driving force.
Yeah, being an all woman, a one woman show is like a lot. You know, you're your own team. I mean, of course, you have people supporting you, but ultimately, like you said, you're the one that's keeping this going, and you're the
Mm-hmm.
one that has to keep that battery in your back,
Yep.
But I mean, you're doing it, girl. So,
Thank
so keep doing it. And I know that you've always had a love for music, so I want to get more into your taste for music.
you.
So, what are three songs from the past that define your journey of becoming a music enthusiast? If three songs is too hard, you can do three artists.
Ooh, okay, that's one I'll have to kind of think. Okay, so I grew up hearing a lot of music, so mm, I would say, as a child, I really, really like listening to Michael Jackson. Honestly, just hearing what he was able to do kind of, I would say, shaped my taste to a very high degree. I remember just watching his videos just always on MTV. Specifically, a memory that really comes to mind was when he died in 2009. And like MTV would do like reruns of like, you know, just capturing his whole career. And me and my siblings, we would sit in front of the TV for hours, just like rerunning like the
Yeah.
videos and that's actually one of my earliest memories of me actually seeking out music for myself. Because my dad used to be a DJ, my mom played music all the time, so I was used to hearing music. But that was one of my first memories. I would say, secondly, I would say Rihanna. When I was like, I would say 10, I was like 10 or 11. I would always she I would always come back from school, run home from school because I always wanted to hear, like, the radio will always have this slot where I don't know, for some reason during that period, they would always play like this song, what was it called? Man Down, and some
Oh
songs
yeah,
off
Amanda.
like her
Yeah.
Red album. And all the time, like I would want just to make sure that because streaming wasn't a thing back then, there was no Spotify, like, and the iTunes account was for my dad. So so
Yeah.
I didn't have any of that. So I would
Yeah.
always make sure I was home before 4 p.m. just to have that radio slot and hear that song. And I just remember that and then discovering really getting into hip hop in my teens. Artists like Kendrick Lamar specifically like really changed how I saw music, because before that it was like, oh, I really like this, I really like the sounds, but then I started to really go into storytelling and lyricism, and I just kind of fell in love with all of that. So I would say, yeah, those three artists really kind of changed the game for me, I'll say.
Yeah, I love that. Michael is definitely on my list. My
Yeah.
top three, it'll be Michael, Whitney, and Brandy. That's like
Oh
my top
yeah.
three. And I
That's
feel
a
like
very
all
solid top three.
yeah, and I feel like all of them influence like so many people today that we hear
Yes.
from today. So that's my
Yes.
top three. That's cool. So now getting into Afro beats specifically. So what would you say was your first vivid memory of listening to Afro beats?
Yeah, I heard Afrobeats all the time, like growing up. So I have so many memories attached to it. Parties, birthday parties, because like in Nigeria, there's just every excuse to party. Like there's
Yeah.
always party going on. So I heard Afrobeats all the time, growing up as a kid. But I know that there was a turning point hearing Wizkid. That was 2010 or 11, one of the two. But something about him just kind of differentiated. Like it was like, oh wow, this is like an Afrobeat artist for me, not for like my parents or for adults. Like it kind of felt, because he was young at the time coming up, like it kind of just felt like a renaissance. And I think that's one artist that, hearing him, like really I started to take an personal interest in Afro beats. So yeah, definitely Wizkid, I would say.
That Superstar album,
Yes.
that's iconic. Like, cause for me, I vividly remember the Holla at Your Boy music
That's
video
the one.
when
Yes.
he had the snapback with the
Snapback.
graphic tee,
Yeah.
skinny jeans. Like those are
That was
great
an
times.
era.
No,
Yeah.
that was truly an era. Like so, like that song and like Wande Cole, the You Bad, and then what else? I wrote down like Bumper to Bumper. That was another
Of
one.
course.
Yeah.
Of course.
P Square Do Me.
P
There's so
Square.
many. Like
Yeah.
Davido Dami Duro. Like
Miduro. That was a
yeah,
big one. Yeah.
yeah. So those are good times. But yeah, so like continuing to look back, like when you look back across different eras of Afrobeats, who are some artists that come to mind of who you want to give their flowers? Like you want to
Oh,
give them their flowers.
you mentioned one person right now, Wande Cole, 100%. I feel like for what he's done for Afrobeats and what he's contributed to Afrobeats, like the flowers that he's giving currently, not enough.
It's
Like
not, yeah.
he's done so much to kind of refine the genre and make it where it is today. I would definitely say Wizkid. I know Wizkid gets his flowers all the time, but like I was, and this is crazy that you say this because I was really just thinking about this yesterday. I was like, wow, like for him to still have this amount of longevity, like,
Yeah.
and for what he did, Davido, of course, has to have his flowers, 100%. Um, I would say there are also a lot of unsung heroes per se that help push the sound forward. Producers like SARS, what he did to kind of refine the sound of Afrobeats and the way he's still going till now. People that were making beats before, Tiwa Savage, for what she did to kind of pave the way for, the women today, like that are doing what they're doing, like Ayra, Starr, Tems. Like she was really an anomaly in an industry that wasn't really, respecting women like that. I would say even people like Tekno, that were coming up and
Yes.
right. Helping to
Yes.
kind of push that sound, especially when Afrobeat started to kind of go international. I would say like that 2014 when it actually started to cross over because of social media. I think he's one of the people that
Yes.
really aided in that. People don't really talk about him.
Yes, like he's literally on my list. I'm like, I feel like his run needs to be studied. Like when this
Yes.
man was going back to
Back
back
to
to
back to
back,
back.
like, and it's like
Right.
straight heat, like straight bangers. It's crazy.
Crazy. Yeah.
And his impact isn't talked about enough.
It
People kind of just
definitely
like
is.
bypass it. But yeah, I love Tekno so much. And then another person I would say is Reekado Banks,
Oh
from Maven.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he had a great run too.
True.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Especially he'll always come in on the hooks for Maven and then his own songs. Yeah, hits too. I just feel like people don't talk about
Talk
him
about
when
him.
it comes
That
to
is
Afro
true.
beats.
Just
So
Maven generally, like
yes,
what they've done, and the fact that they're still like probably the most, the most consistent
influential.
till now,
Yeah,
influential. Like, yeah,
yeah, it's
definitely,
just crazy how like how many decades it's been now. Since
yeah.
from Mo hits to now with the current Maven. It's like
Mavens,
wow.
yep,
Yeah.
amazing.
But so now I want to talk about the present though, like people who I feel like still aren't like really appreciated.
Mhm.
And I know this might come as a surprise, but for me, I feel like Ayra Starr isn't appreciated enough.
I get where you're coming from.
Okay, yeah.
I feel, yeah, definitely. It's a very weird position because like she is known, like she's not on the ground, but at the same time, I feel like she's not appreciated to the level that she's supposed to be appreciated. For someone her age to have done what she's done, like, yeah,
And when we talk about consistency and work ethic, like literally, she's the definition of that. Like since dropping her EP, like she hasn't stopped.
stopped. It's
And
been a
like
steady run.
yeah, and because I also wrote down some other things, like my other points of why, like I feel like she's not getting enough credit. I just feel like all the hits she's had, Rush, Bloody Samaritan, Stability, Commas, and then her rollout for the year I turned 21. Like the marketing for that was actually so good. And I feel like people don't really
Good.
talk about that. Grammy nominated, and her collaborations. Let's talk about her collaborations.
Right.
It's so international, from Liana Camara to Raul Alejandro. She's always, and then the thing is, she's kind of like Tiwa Savage, where whenever they collaborate, they eat each time, like every single time
Every
delivers.
single time. Even she's
Yeah.
collaborated with like people on the EDM side, like David Guetta, like, and she showed up beautifully every single time. Yeah, definitely deserves her flowers for the work ethic alone. Like,
Yes. And then also she went on tour with Coldplay. I just feel like when we talk about big three, big four, I don't know. For me, I'm like, please, Ayra, she's in my big four.
one
That's
thing
what
I've
I'm saying.
noticed is that, like, for the current generation, obviously, but people find it really hard to give women
Yes.
like their flowers. People find it really hard,
Yeah.
especially like in Afro beats. It's still a very much male dominated industry, and I feel like that's why people find it hard. Like, even some people would not want to include Tems, and I'm like, you can't be serious.
It's exactly.
Like,
You
that's
really can't be
probably number
serious.
one. Like right now, that you can't.
Yeah.
Like, why aren't you including the women? So I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah. It's just crazy when you think about it. But okay. I don't know if you want to answer this question because it might be problematic, but who's your big four? If you don't have to answer if you
I
don't
can
want to.
answer that.
Okay.
Currently, like, so what I'm gonna do is that I'm not gonna put in the OGs, like, because I just
Okay.
believe that there was a big three. There are still a big three, and like this is just my new gen big three. So respect to all the OGs like Wizkid. But my new gen big three, definitely Rema. Like
Okay.
he's there. Like I feel like there's very few people that could. Secondly, Tems. Like I'm gonna put Tems in there as number two. Big four. Damn, this is tough. I might say something controversial, but I would not put Asake in there for just my personal choice. Like,
Okay.
I'm not huge. I recognize the talent, but like his music just doesn't really resonate with me to a very huge degree.
Okay.
I feel like if I spoke Yoruba, I'll probably get it more, but I
Yeah.
don't. But I don't
Yeah.
speak that much, so it's like okay. So definitely Tems, Ayra Starr, Rema. There's a fourth person I'm forgetting. I just know it. I'm have to pull up my Spotify. Um,
That's real.
let's see here. Uh, okay. You know what? You know what? If I was to put a fourth person, it will actually be Ashake, but he'll be
Okay.
number four for me.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll probably say Tems, Rema, definitely Rema, Tems, Ayra Starr, and yeah, Ashake. I would say.
Honestly, that's a good four. I feel like for me, it'll be hard for me to come up with it, but I know for sure Rema and Ira, they're in my four. Well, honestly, Thames too. So it's really the fourth person who
It's
I
the
don't
fourth
know.
person.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah. And then now I want to talk about people like the unsung heroes of Afrobeats, which are the producers, which you talked about earlier. So another hard like topic. Who would you say is in your Mount Rushmore of Afrobeats producers?
Oh, easy. SARS definitely
Okay.
there. There's some artists that have done really good work. Jules, gonna say Jules.
Okay. I
Um,
loved your interview with him. That was really good.
thank you. Man, that the two spots that I have could go to anyone because you could say Don Jazzy,
Of course,
but I
yes.
like you. I will put him there. Yeah, let me put him
He
there.
should be no. He should be
Yeah,
number one.
I would have put him there. That fourth spot is shaky though, because I have like five names of the
Yeah,
top.
there's so many.
Anyone could
Yeah.
go in there, like P2J, P Prime, London,
Yes. Yes.
Guilty Beats. Like there's so many people that
Yes.
go in that fourth
I
position. But let's
agree.
just say like, yeah, definitely SARS, definitely Don Jazzy, and Jules. I'll say those three.
Those
Yeah.
three. Yeah, like everyone you listed, I love them. Like I feel like some people you didn't mention, like Spells, KLP,
Right.
Mastercraft.
Mastercraft. There's so
Yeah,
many.
and Magic Sticks. Like, yeah, there's a lot of great ones
Yep.
for sure. Okay, so now I want to get into talking about 2024 because I know we're 4 months into 2025 already, but I feel like 2024 was such an amazing year for Afro beats and
100%.
just African artists in general. So like Tems, of course, with her debut, Ayra, Rema, of course, Asake, Wizkid, Oxlade, King Promise, and like someone else
It was
too.
stacked. Ooh.
Like literally, like 2024 was a good year. Like when we look at, because like what other years were great? Like 2014 or like that era from like
Yeah.
2014 to 2017. Like that
17.
was a great time. But I feel like 2024, that was honestly a great year. And like artists like Fido, like he hasn't released a project yet, but I'm like
Yeah.
I'm excited for him. I feel like he's gonna drop some like great music soon.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, what were some highlights for you from 2024? I mean, I know I mentioned a lot,
Yeah.
so
Definitely Rema's album. That album, like, really like it was an album that just grabbed my attention like by force. You
Yeah.
know, I love that album. I feel like for me, when it came to albums that came out of Nigeria in 2024, it was definitely up there for me. I love that album with everything. I think Wizkid's album was really good that dropped last year. It sounded really mature, really refined, had some great tunes, great features as well. Definitely gonna put Ayra there. The year I turned 21, I think it really showed her range and really showed her confidence, as a sophomore project. Tems, yes, like that
Absolutely.
album, I have spun that album a million times. Like
Same.
I feel like it's gonna age so well, and it's such a strong debut.
What's
Like,
your favorite song on that album?
whew. For me, it's Unfortunate. Unfortunate is my favorite
Okay.
that
That's nice.
album. I really like that album has so many great
Yeah.
songs. Like Wicked,
Mine is
really good.
Gangsta. Gangsta's
Gangsta
mine.
is good. Love Me Jeje. Like
Mhm.
it has so many great songs. Boy oh boy, You in My Face. Like yes, that album is gonna age really, really well, in my opinion. I know there's a few people that I'm forgetting here. I have to pull up my Spotify.
No problem. No, that's real.
Let me
Because
pull
I know you
up.
listen to so much music, so it makes
Yeah, I
sense.
was just like, hmm. Um, I think Odile dropped a really
Oh,
cool
damn.
project at the
Mhm.
top of the year. Although I would not really consider him overly Afro beats because he's kind of like, but I will put him there. There was this nice album I really liked last year. It was Show Them Camp dropped this album with the
Oh.
Cavemen. It
Mhm.
was called No Love in Lagos. I loved it. Jules had a really, really great project as well. Yeah, like Fireboy.
Oh,
I
yeah,
forgot.
Fireboy.
Yeah, I knew
Yeah.
that's who I was forgetting. Yeah, yeah. His
Yeah.
album was pretty, pretty solid. Even Asake's album, Gungu Boy, I did
Yeah.
not really love it on first listen, but going back to it and hearing it, especially at parties, like there are some really great gems in there. So yeah, I would say those artists.
Yeah, and I feel like Asake, like his music in general, is like the more you listen to it, it gets better. It's one of those like, what's the phrase? Like the
It grows
fine
on you.
wine.
I
Yeah,
know.
it grows on you.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's talk about 2025. Like I said, we're 4 months in. What have you been listening to? It doesn't necessarily have to be
Hmm.
Afro beats, but still like African artists you've been listening
To be honest, there's not even much that has dropped.
to.
Like
Okay.
this year has kind of been slow.
Yeah,
Like when it comes
we're
to,
gonna talk about that too. But yeah.
yeah, like I've not really seen like if I open like just opening my Spotify right now on the Afrobeat side of things, even just generally, not even
Yeah.
just on the Afrobeat side of things, this year has kind of had like a slow-ish start. So
Yeah.
honestly, I'm rotation wise, I'm still in 2024.
2024. That's
I'm,
real.
I'm still in 2024.
I feel like for me, my two favorites so far is King Maddie's album, I Am the
Oh
Blueprint. Yeah,
yes.
she's so good. I love her.
And she's
Like,
so young too. Like she like
exactly.
yeah. Like
Like
yeah.
her songwriting is so good. The way she does melodies. Like, I'm rooting for her, honestly. I hope she goes on
Yes.
tour because I need to hear
She
her
definitely
live.
will go on tour. Like I see
Yeah.
that. I see that happening. Yeah.
And then Magixx. I don't know if you listen to Magixx. I love him. His
Oh,
I
I
Dream in
saw
Color
that album
album.
from Mavens.
Yeah, it's so
I
good.
saw that album. Actually, I actually had it on my to listen list. I don't even know how
Yeah.
to skip my mind. Yeah. Thanks for the
Y-
reminder. I will
Yeah, no
go
problem.
back.
Definitely listen to that. Like, I love him too. I love his songwriting too. Both young people who are just killing it,
Yeah.
for sure. So, and like how you mentioned how like music in general has slowed down, especially Afro beats. So like, why do you think that is? Do you think people are just tired from 2024, or like, what do you think it is?
I just think a lot of people, like a lot of artists are like the music industry generally at the start of the year is pretty slow. Just because I think it's an attention game. And when people want to look back at the year, unfortunately, people always kind of forget albums that dropped really early in the year. You always see a scramble towards the second quarter. Like if you actually look at the albums that are just all over, not just Afro beats, that are slated to drop in the second half of the year. From May, there's just a lot of artists that you start seeing lineups of drops. So I just feel like it's a kind of like just artists want to see how the waters are at the first half of the year, kind of gauge the scene and then start dropping like in that second quarter. So I think that's what it is like generally. I don't really know why, but it always picks up like towards the middle of the year. Then everyone starts dropping. Last year, it was like kind of slow. Then everyone just started dropping. Like it was like a new drop
Yeah.
every week, a new drop every week. And it was like
Exactly.
that till the end of the year. So
Yeah. No, that's so
we'll
true.
see.
And then there was a TikTok you made last year. You talked about how Amapiano had Afro beats in a chokehold, which I agree with.
Yes.
And how there was like just so much fusion and like predictable songs and just like overall stagnation. But you described Rema's His album as a successful experiment.
Yes.
And you were excited at that time, you were excited about the direction Afrobeats was going in. So what
Yeah.
are your current thoughts now?
I really think that album was a reset because after that, like the songs that are dropping now, even the songs that are going viral now, like you look at like Charlie Poppy's La Ho that's going viral on social media and everything, you can see that that Afrobeats era is phasing out. And to be honest, I'm happy. Sorry, not Afrobeats, I'm a piano. It's
Amapiano,
phasing out.
yeah.
And I'm happy because and I have nothing against Amapiano. Like, but I just felt like it was just like a easy formula. It's just like, oh wow, get on an Amapiano beat. And it made Afrobeats parties monotonous.
Yeah.
Like you would go for a party and just Amapiano from start to
Oh.
finish. Like, okay,
Like,
like I think where I really felt it was December 2023. I was in Lagos and I went out to the club with my friends and that was all like for like 3 hours. I was like, surely there's more.
yeah.
There's more that could be played, you know? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So I just feel like my piano came and like everyone just kind of like just jumped on the wave and was like, and Afrobeats. And one thing about it is like that's why I really liked when I listened to Asake's album, hearing songs like Fuji Vibe or Oh Yeah, like it stayed away from that. Rema's album too. And then Wizkid came and really confirmed that and just kind of stayed away from that. Even Ayra Starr, like the songs that I really, really loved on the year I turned 21, like yes, the Afro bounce started to make its way back. And like because I feel like Afrobeats has such a distinct um just a DNA, and we were kind of losing that
Yeah.
to my piano. And I don't mind when it's fused, but like it reached a point where you could hear 10 different artists on the same beat, just like slight variations, but still the same beat. And I felt like creativity was just being lost in there. And that's why like I feel like his was a very successful experiment. Like, yes, we can go back to, just high energy, like reminded me of like Mo hits, the beats that the band would play like would experiment on back then, the beats that people like Don Jazzy would make, just really took me back to that time. And yeah, so I would love to see more of just what Afrobeats is known for. I feel like there's so much variety, and Amapiano came and kind of just made everything kind of monotonous, sounding kind of too similar. So yeah.
I definitely agree. And just like the aspect of, like you said, experiment. Like I want more people to experiment. I feel like the artists that I gravitate towards are the people that don't do what's typical. Like they make music refreshing, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I'm really hoping for the second half of 2025 that we start seeing that, honestly. I was gonna mention something else too. Oh yeah, you had mentioned about how in music there's a lack of bridges, right? And
Yes.
I completely agree. I mean, of course, like R&B, that's like the main genre where we really need those bridges. But honestly, I feel like if Afro beats were to get some bridges, that could shake some things up.
Yes.
Like, come on,
Yes.
guys. Like, I'm tired of the 2 minute songs. I mean, I'll take them and I love you guys, but like, it's two
And I
minutes. Well,
think that was my only like gripe with the Rema album. Cause like a lot of those songs could be fleshed out a little more. Like
yeah.
it could like some songs would just run for 1 minute 50 seconds. Like that could be twice its runtime because he had so much material to build on. But like some songs were over just before like I started it. Like if I listen to like the intro, like Marcham, like it was such a strong intro and like to the album. And if he like dragged it out just a little bit, expanded and fledged it out, I feel like Ayra Starr did a good job on some songs off her album with that. I feel like Tems did a good job as well. The Wizkid album was well fledged out too. The songs were of sufficient length, and definitely Afro beats. Like, of course, we know bridges are more of like an R&B pop thing, but like Afro beats has been a fusion. It's a fusion from its conception. So I feel like we could take you could take ingredients from what makes songs good in other genres and kind of bring them in. So I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like there's room for improvement for
Mm.
sure. And then did you hear Burna on the I'm lacking his name right now. Joe, do you know Joe Dwèt? Is that his name?
Wait.
Yeah, pull up Spotify for me because the Kompa song, the for
Oh,
Kampé.
I
Yeah.
did. I saw it. I saw honest. Oh yeah, for Kampé with Joe Dwèt. I
Yeah.
that's the pronunciation. But yes, I saw it. I
Mhm.
actually saw people like I saw it on TikTok like a week ago, and people were like so angry. Like
Really, I saw people excited, so maybe on a different
so
side.
maybe it's on a different side, but the
Yeah.
people I saw weren't like Afro like on the
Okay.
Afrobeat side of things on from the original the side where the Joe Dwèt is from, they were like, "Oh my God,
Yeah,
Burna
Haitian.
ruined this song. Like, we didn't need him. The song was perfect on its own." Honestly, I think like Burna Boy is an artist that he's very like he is someone that he's rarely puts out bad music, in my opinion.
Hmm.
I feel
I
like it was
agree.
a nice song. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
he enhanced it with his feature, but you know, everyone has their opinions.
Yeah,
So
because
I thought it was solid.
after it dropped, I saw like a lot of videos or TikToks from Haitians, and they were just talking about, oh, he can speak Creole so well. Like I saw love for it.
Wow, two different sets of the
So like I wonder, do you think like Kompa is gonna be like something people start
I
doing?
would love to hear Kompa on a more mainstream level. I feel like there's so many ways you could play with the variation of Kompa. And one thing I like about it is that you could take your time with it. It's a very intimate genre. And I would actually like to see like Afrobeats artists kind of incorporate that, incorporate that into it where Afrobeats, the way we like to dance, like very very fast, like work, like very very quick.
Yeah.
So I feel like Kompa might help like slow things down a
Slow
little,
it down.
kind of, I feel like I see a lot of artists able to build on that. Like we saw, like for example, the collab that Starr had with Aya Nakamura. The
Oh yeah.
song, the beat was very Kompa like it was a very um almost Congolese type beat. And I would really, really, really like to see. And Ayra did well on that.
Yeah, she
So
did.
I feel like artists like our art. One thing about Afrobeats artists, like we could be on anything. Like it
Yeah.
could be R&B, it could be a hip hop beat. Like we've seen that time and time again. So I'm down for experimentation as long as it's good and it's intentional. Like I'm always open for that.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And as long as it's not too much, because I also don't want it to be a thing where Haitians are like, okay, wait a minute, what's going
You
on now?
guys are hijacking from
Yeah,
us.
yeah, just like how we did on Amapiano. They're like, wait,
Amapiano.
hold on, yeah, they're like, hold on.
That's always my issue. Like someone does
Yeah,
it and the whole
and
industry, everyone
yeah,
just
everyone just does it. So actually, I
yeah.
kind of take back. I mean, yes, maybe some artists try it out, but let's not
Yeah.
go
Don't
too
overdo it.
overboard. Yeah, don't go overboard.
Yeah.
But I know we've been talking so much about Rema. Are you going to one of his shows for his tour?
100%.
You
Huh?
are.
Not missing it for any.
Yeah.
Actually, I even saw him. Like I saw him in December, like in Nigeria,
Oh,
and I'm
really?
gonna see him at like. I'm
Oh
not missing
wow.
it for anything.
Because I've never seen him live, and I hope I can go to the
Oh, he's
MSG
so
show.
good.
I've heard, yeah, and I've
He's so
seen,
good. I
but
saw him in 2023 in Canada here, and then yeah, I saw him. I saw him. I went to his release party in New York,
okay.
when he dropped this recent album. So yeah, any excuse to see him because he's a
Yeah.
really like he's a artist that takes performance seriously. Like he's not just like on the stage, just like pointing the mic at you. He's like he's really performing. So definitely, if you have the chance, go see him. I highly recommend.
I really hope so. And like, are you planning on going to any other concerts?
Yes. Wizkid is going on tour.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
100%. I'm gonna go for that. I missed Tems tour last year. I'm still a little salty about that. Ira Star hasn't gone on like a solo tour.
And I'm upset. I need her to go on
Go on a
tour.
solo. There's
Yeah.
only so much you could do, like being an opener for another artist.
Mhm.
And you being an opener for another artist, especially when it's not like an artist within your genre, like kind of have to tailor your set list to like what you feel like your audience might enjoy because you're opening for them. So I would really like to see Ara start. Like it's about time. Like she's gone on tour with Chris Brown,
Yeah.
gone on tour with Coldplay. Like it's about time for like a solo effort because she's big enough for a solo effort.
Absolutely. But my thing too is because I know she went on a previous tour. And wasn't it called the 21 tour? Because I remember, because I watched like a
Mm.
mini like documentary thing she put together on YouTube. And basically the year I turned 21 was supposed to come out sooner than when it did come out, but she still went on that
She went on
tour.
tour before that.
Yeah, so I'm like, so what will this tour be called? Maybe like, I
Whatever.
don't know, the deluxe. Yeah,
Right?
either
Like
way.
whatever she calls it, like the
Yeah,
Ayra
I'm
Starr
there.
tour. Like,
Yeah.
but I just think she owes her fans like a tour. Like,
Yeah,
what
so hopefully that's coming. Yeah, but any other thoughts you want to share, or also like anything you have coming up this year you want to share?
Yeah, I would love to collab with more artists in the Nigerian space, especially content wise. I have a million questions. Unfortunately, it's so hard to penetrate, like it's
Yeah.
so hard. Like I found it way easier penetrating the American side of things than penetrating the Nigerian side of things. And I really would love that because I feel like one thing is that we have so many great artists, but there is a lack of great documentation.
Yeah,
There
and
is
that's
a
why
lack, like a huge lack.
yeah, and that's why I created this podcast because I'm like I want to really sit with people and break down the music. Like there's just so much music from over these past few decades. It's like, let's
Mhm.
talk about it. Let's break it down. So,
Right.
like you said, it's hard to like, get in touch with certain artists and everything. So prayers up that both of us can make it happen this year.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
for
100%
sure.
because the stories need to be told. And
Mhm.
when I see conversations surrounding Afrobeats, especially like when you look at the blogs, like the Nigerian blogs, always something like outrage driven or like something
Gossip.
quick for the clicks, gossip. But like there needs to be space for more productive conversations, more conversations that actually document the really cool stuff that's happening. There's so many great like between like 2017 and now, like the strides the genre has made, like that needs to be documented big time. So yeah, that's why like when I saw what you were doing, like I saw the vision, I was like, I need to get on this because like there's more people like in Nigeria and the diaspora, everyone like it's a band effort that we all need to come together and just uplift the genre, talk about it in a positive way, make it feel legit.
Yes.
So yeah, I'll say that.
I absolutely agree with that. Well, thank you so much again, Elsie, for
For
joining me
sure.
today. It's been such a pleasure talking to you
Thank you for
and learning
having
more
me.
about you. Of course. Thank you.